Yep. Now he's calling them a rodent. I don't know if that's necessarily
It's a
racist
rodent.
or not, but
I'm allowed to AFK one, right? So I'm just gonna AFK this one.
what is up, everybody? Neace right here. Yep, this is his new account he made recently. Just went AFK in a game and called his Korean teammates rodents and insulted them quite heavily. And I'm just gonna go over that. I'm also gonna go over him saying that ranked it's all like luck and there's no skill involved in it at all, and everyone complaining about ranked is completely justified. Challenger players are the same as silver players. And he should be challenger in Korea. He's just getting unlucky and he's getting targeted, and it's not his fault, right? It's never his fault. He's a amazing player, even if he solidifies in a bronze like gold game and then AFK. So let's get into this. Okay, and so yeah, this is the game. He just AFKs. He gets dived and then he gets solo killed, and he pretty much AFKs this game. He has a bit of a troll jungler, but yeah, this is like one of the first times I've seen Neace like completely just mental boom too and insult his teammates. And well, his jungler was trolling. I feel like it's almost winnable if he actually really tried. None of his lanes were really gapped per se, besides himself. Even if his jungler was trolling, so I can get the frustration. But let's get into the clip. Okay, so you can see Neace TPing back into lane here against a GP. So it's a very big wave, so you can't really fight into this, so you're gonna have to let it crash. But let's see what he does here. Oh, he goes right into the wave. And look, now he has no abilities, and this is obviously a very bad position with all those minions hitting him. And look, so he has to leave, and now it's a very bad position for him with all those minions coming, and obviously it's very vulnerable for him, and it's his own fault. And then Lee Sin shows up down there, so he's pretty much gonna just die.
This is classic Korea solo queue right here.
Classic career solo queue. You misplaying and getting dived. I feel like that's like the most common thing I've ever heard.
Bruh.
Yep. Now he's calling them a rodent. I don't know if that's necessarily racist or not, but I'm not saying it's necessary.
I could probably AFK one, right? It doesn't really matter.
And now he's gonna give up, just like his jungler. Already 4 minutes in.
Korean gamers, such a beautiful gaming culture right here. Ruin an entire game at 1 minute.
You don't seem to be trying either, though.
Should have dodged it. Bad matchup. Shit team matchup on bot. You dodge it.
Yep, and now he's playing a bad matchup, which it's like a little bit hard matchup, but you can still win it very easily when it's in gold. And obviously he's coping. Like, I feel like an actual challenger player would be unironically able to win this game, but yeah, this is Neace, and he pretty much just AFKs and runs around insulting his team for the rest of his time. As you can see, he's just sitting here, not even attempting to play.
I'm allowed to AFK one, right? So I'm just gonna AFK this one. Hey guys, if your life is hard, at least you're not a Korean gamer. Remember that. The weakest, most childish group of people I've ever played video games with.
And look how upset he is here. His Talia is actually at least somewhat trying. I'm not even joking. This Talia, it's like a river Talia. It's like a new strat. I wouldn't even, I mean, she's obviously trolling. I'd be a bit pissed at her too, but you know, I would try here. If you're a challenger player, you could still win this lane, even though you misplayed and got dove. But,
don't stop moving around. Don't let them get loss prevented.
Yeah.
That's true.
Look at what he's doing here. He's trying to not loss prevent his teammates. You're saying they shouldn't get loss prevented? The people that just got an enter on their team and then an AFK Neace on their team? Yeah, this is disgusting stuff. And look, he's trying to move around here to deny loss prevention. And yeah, that's what I want to show here.
Way more toxic. Yeah.
What Neace is doing. Okay, but something else I thought that was very important to share with you all is me saying, my apologies to ranked complainers. You were right. And in this video, he pretty much says, oh yeah, everyone complaining about ranked is right. And obviously this is something he has been talking about a lot recently, so it's not surprising that he just made a video to outright say it. But he has been kind of skirting around the issue because his coaching is built around the idea that you can't really complain about ranked. And so he's pretty much exposing either he's wrong about it, ranked complainers being right, or he was completely lying to his clients. Either way, it's really bad, but I think he's mostly wrong about ranked complainers being right. Maybe in some ways they are right, but mostly in the ways he thinks they are, he is incorrect, and yeah, he does not deserve the rank he thinks he does. I mean, look at Neace's account right here. It is a whopping 55% win rate in gold. Like, it's not impressive. It's it's really just a little bit embarrassing almost. It's not the worst I've seen Neace do, but frankly, I expect his win rate to drop even more, and it did drop recently. It was higher than this before, if you don't remember. Okay, but getting into the video, let's hear what he has to say.
I'm basically trying my ass off to win, and I'm just not winning. I'm just not.
Okay, so Neace admits here that he is trying really hard to win, but he's just not winning. So he's been putting in all the practice in his mind, and really just trying out everything he can to win. Putting in like all the hours, putting in the work, sometimes even up to like 10 hours a day, playing solo queue, practicing champions, looking at the meta, looking at rune pages, looking at top Korean players. Pretty much more than 99% of players do, even probably most challenger players do, to try and improve at this game. And so at least he is putting in the work, you could argue. But he's not climbing, so let's see what he says about why he's not climbing.
I'm practicing, I'm studying, I'm practicing, I'm studying, I'm practicing, I'm studying, and I'm just not able to fucking turn the corner on the roll. And wouldn't you know it, because the roll wasn't that important. The rolls that...
Yep. And now he's just saying the reason he couldn't, like, get the momentum he wanted in the jungle was just because, obviously, on his other account, he demoted all the way from high diamond down to, like, middle of platinum, playing jungle and just pulling like a bot. And it's not because the role's not that important. If the role wasn't that important, you would be a 50% win rate because neither player would have any impact. You or your opponent jungler. And so then you would actually remain in fairly high diamond, and you would not drop down to platinum, okay? You dropping to platinum is proof that it does have an impact, okay? So this is a pretty bad excuse right here. And yeah, you clearly did prove that jungle has an impact by having an impact in the negative sense.
were important were the other roles. Yeah, I could win and I could carry sometimes, but it was when the other roles allowed me to do that. That's the problem. See, like, Cowsep even got to Grandmaster, and he's playing Yi, and he's just running around like a goober, right? He's just he's goober fighting.
Look, here he is insulting someone else more successful than he is, with jungle, saying that they're quote-unquote goober fighting, and that's what you need to do to climb in jungle. And obviously you can tell he's a bit upset at Cowsep, someone who doesn't even market themselves to be quite as good as Neace would, out climbing him massively in Korea. So that's obviously a huge ego hit right there. And well, Neace says that everyone who flames him is really mad at how much money he makes. This is clearly an example of him being mad at someone who is a much better player than him and out climbing him. And there are so many examples of him doing this at so many different players. Obviously I've shared examples of him doing this with people like the boss, Elite 500, but I mean, he does this almost every stream. He'll insult anyone if his chat mentions them, or even if they don't.
I just never embraced the style. I just didn't want to play it.
Yep, you didn't want to play the style of goober fighting. Neace, you were talking about playing all this hyper aggro things. This is obviously some of the most insane coping I have ever in my whole life heard. Yeah, you are willing to adapt to every style, and this quote-unquote goober fighting is what you were trying to do. And you were trying to play Kindred, someone who I guess could be kind of good at that. And other champions too. You also played everyone from Karthus to Kindred to Zac. You play champions that can gank, champions that can farm, junglers that scale, junglers that are good at early game. But you didn't win any of that, and you certainly did a lot of this quote-unquote goober fighting. Yeah, so this is just plain old coping, and there's no going around it.
So I wasted a lot of time because I wouldn't do it. I kept trying other things, but the answer was just perma gank. Gank a lot.
Yep, and you never went on that. I don't know what you're talking about. Your Hecarim is still negative 1 rate, even in gold.
I find it funny that as soon as I got into a ranked game on this account, I had a nightmarishly hard ranked game, nightmarishly hard. It was all jungle. It was like all my work was meaningless. Okay,
now here he is, saying that he has been having nightmarishly hard jungle games, and this is obviously not true. This is him coping. He may have had a little bit difficult first 3 games, but they really weren't even that difficult. I mean, yeah, he had some losing teams, some of these, but if you look at his teams, they're not even that bad. Like, a lot of them are actually trying, and a lot of them are putting up decent assist numbers, even if they're not, like, putting up crazy kill numbers. And these are the 2 games he lost out of those 3. But he has people playing pretty decently on his team, like 557, 556, 278, even better than his score in some of these cases. So obviously, it's not really fair for him to say that it's just his team's fault, and that Riot Games matchmaking is putting him in bad games, like he's implying here. I mean, like, how would they do that? Are they specifically targeting your account because they know your niece? I'm not sure what he implies about this, because obviously other people aren't being put in hard games. I mean, it's impossible for everyone to be put in like super hard games where they have to carry every time. But yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, right?
You see that? Look at that. All my work on the roll was meaningless. It didn't mean anything. Like, Heckram's not a great champ right now, but like, that just goes to show you, it just didn't mean anything. Call it doom and gloom, call it whatever you want, but it is what it is.
Okay, and in this video, there's actually some crazy coping by Neace here, and this is him explaining why jungle is really weak. So up top, you've got Timmy Toothless, and obviously this is on your team because you always get matched with bad players, right? Mid is Dave the Oswell main, probably missing 8 fingers and has an IQ of 20. Bobby Vane and Brittany the Nammy enthusiast support. Okay, and then he gets Chad Chadlington, he gets Cataball's son, he gets like freaking pro players and whatever, you know? This is obviously him coping, right? Like, this is him trying to say why jungle is bad, and I'm gonna play this later, but no matter what, alright, if you're playing against players that are this good and your team's just bad, it's almost impossible to win, right? Unless you get like really like play out of your mind, right? Or if you get lucky. I don't know what jungle has to do with this, but let's hear what Neace says.
The other roles are kind of determined by the people that you get, the hands that you're dealt. So
yeah, so this is him saying that every role besides top and mid are determined by the teams you get. And in a way, this is true because it's a team game, but that's also true for mid and top. As you have to deal with your jungler, you have to deal with like support roaming, you have to deal with everything. You have to deal with team fights. So even if you're in a solo lane, it can be pretty tough to deal with a bad team. It's a little bit easier than the other lanes, but it still can be tough.
if you're not getting, if you're jungling and over again, you're getting these types of hands, right? And you could say, oh, it's matchmaking. But like, that's the thing is like, I used to be able to say that, but lately I can't say that anymore because I'm not really convinced that matchmaking is really giving you any sort of even streak.
Okay, well the thing is, it may not be even every game. Like there's a lot of speculation about it not being even every game. Like sometimes they'll try to make blowout teams or put you in losers queue or whatever. But in the long run, eventually you're gonna get an even amount of good teams and an even amount of bad teams, right? So you should always go 50% win rate theoretically. If you were to have the same exact impact as your laner, okay, every single game. And I feel like that's pretty much just a fact, and Neace is going into pretty much, I would almost consider conspiracy theories at this point, because in the long run, there's no real indication that you're going to be getting worse teams than your opponent will be, because the thing is, if that was to be true, then some people would have to get teams way better than their opponents, and like, how would they determine that? Like, why would Neace be getting accounts that are put with bad teammates always? Like, none of this makes any sense. I just wanted to highlight this because it's Neace saying that matchmaking is rigged, and I think it's really pretty much coping in the most severe sense because he is saying that the game is literally rigged against him, and it's bordering on conspiracy theories at this point. Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, you've got to accept that if you're not playing a solo lane, you better be at the elo you're supposed to be at.
Okay, and obviously, he's just making insane excuses here. I don't know how jungle is so bad when you can impact so many different lanes. You can farm up your jungle, and let's see what he does here. It's actually pretty funny what we're gonna see. Because
if you're playing some fucking jungle shit by yourself and trying to climb, you won't be having a lot of fun, in my opinion.
Well, there are people.
It's too much work.
What about Bo and EOS, or what about?
As somebody who's played real-time strategy games and League of Legends for a long, let's take a moment.
Okay, this is the funny part I was talking about.
Let's take a moment. Hold on. I've played for many years.
Okay, now look, he's getting some music from, I guess, Titanic, and playing it to give a send-off to jungle.
I have seen many junglers get elo inflated from this role. I thought that would be me here in Korea.
Yeah, you thought you were gonna get elo inflated. Now he's admitting you thought he was gonna get elo inflated.
But no, the role. everything from Power Farm Graves to Mundo 3 Camp back into Doran's Blade into fucking into fucking Nocturne, autopilot, press R. It's all gone.
It's all gone. No one can play
You
jungle anymore.
are now
Bo is a bronze
you are
player.
now junglers have been bullshitting for like forever. Junglers, you heard it here. You may now officially in Neace streams, you may now officially bitch that your role sucks dick.
Okay, now he's letting all of the Iron players in his chat bitch about their role. And yeah, this is pretty harmful, I would say, honestly. When he is talking about one of the worst roles, I mean, one of the best roles, not one of the worst, one of the best roles in the game, arguably. I mean, any role's fine for climbing if you're good enough at it and you know how to play it and you have a good strategy down. But yeah, Denise, just because you fail at something doesn't mean it's weak, and that shows his mental, that shows his ego centricism. He's like, if I can't do it, nobody can. It's impossible because I'm the best at everything. But yeah, that's gonna do it for my video. So let me know about what you think about that. What you think about Neace being such an egotist, about him AFKing, about him making crazy excuses. Yeah, see y'all in the next video.